This is your mothership. And they welcome you home because they've got very important information to share with you before you leave on your mission. So I want you to look around, Laura. Look around and find the one that's going to be your spokesperson today. And as you find them, tell me, what do you see?
I see myself, and I am an Arcturian, and I have showing myself with a long white robe with gold lame down it. But then I transformed like my outfit on the ship. And it's more of a tight-fitting spandex blue. And we're here to talk about the state of being of the earth. In my domain is the healing and the hearts of the people. And what I'm being told is that my goal is to help the healers expand themselves into as multidimensional as each of their souls are ready to be. And that is so that they can quickly work with their people to clear them of the density and the heaviness in a more rapid way. If you look at the 3D way that society tells us to go to counseling and talk and talk and talk, that takes years and years and years. But with the healing ability of the healers, as they become multidimensional, these densities, this trauma that they're bringing in from all their other lifetimes, they've brought them in to clear all levels of themselves. So they're bringing it all forward, and experienced healers can clear that, which has the ripple effect going into each of the fractals of themselves. And that creates their frequency to rise much quicker, their ascension to happen much quicker, the quicker that we can clear the densities and allow them to be reprogrammed. Because in the sessions, you can always also ask if the client is ready. You can ask if they're ready for upgrade. So as we clear those densities in the sessions, as that space is made available, we can also assist them to get the upgrades that every human body is going to need to work within this new frequency that we have.
Mm.
So as I see, my task is to help the healers expand exponentially, multidimensionally, so they can see, quickly realize how powerful their abilities are, so that they can assist those that come in contact with them. So by affecting the healers, and healers are in all shapes and sizes. They are musicians, they are writers, they are artists, they are counselors, they are mothers, they are teachers, they are fathers, they are every walk of life, affecting all of those around them in different ways, in different, I'm not sure the word that you would call it, but people that are more touched by art, or people that are more touched by the music, or more touched by the writings, or touched by the verbal words, or touched by the meditation, or touched by the prayers, or touched by the songs in their churches. Though it's all walks of life that healers are there to help. And so what I'm being told on the ship is that this is the time. This is the time we've all been preparing for, that the energy is amping up exponentially, and everything, the healing will happen at a much more rapid pace. And it's because of the multidimensionality of all of it.
Mhm.
And so the instructions, the conversations that we're having on the ship are, what's next? What's next? And as we've all been hearing, we keep hearing chaos is ensuing, chaos is coming. And the reason I cannot say specifically what is that chaos, because every human is going to be affected differently based on what frequencies they're tapped into, what components of their life they're tapped into are going to be very different from one person to the next to the next. So the chaos is always going to affect a person in different varying degrees and differently based on their, how do I say that, their meshing, their composite of everything that they're tapped into is different for every human. So there could be a catastrophic event here that won't affect them at all, but there could be some disheveling here that will affect them profoundly. So again, it is about getting the lesson here is that people are going to be off kilts more rapidly, quicker, and they're going to need sometimes help sorting through all of the decisions in front of them, and the energy coming at them, and the feelings being pulled out, and they're going to be triggered at a much higher level, and will need higher skilled healers to help them sort through that. So those of us that are doing the intense work, our frequencies are going to be elevated exponentially, because then the frequencies that we have, the higher intense frequencies, every human that we come in contact with will feel those frequencies, and it will affect them and raise their frequencies without us even having to have interaction with them. It will just, by being next to us, their frequencies and their knowing will get raised. And so we're saying, well, your frequency gets raised. What does that mean? That means that you access higher level knowledge, higher level information, higher level knowing, higher level seeing, higher level visions of what is going on in your life, in the world around you, in the bigger picture. And that helps the collective of people coming together. It helps us connect at a higher frequency so that we can make better decisions of what is good for all. Because as these systems into 3D begin to break down and shift and no longer serve, we're going to be gathering intense knowledge, higher knowledge, better intellect, better inventions, just higher level information to put together new systems that will bring the people up that are not even actively working at raising their frequencies. Our higher frequencies can affect enough people to raise those people that don't even realize they're being raised into a higher level. And this is so that we can quickly elevate the civilization and the population into this new way of being. So those of us that are intentionally working on clearing our systems, raising our frequencies, we will be able to absorb this intense frequency much quicker, much faster. And that way, it's like reaching our hand back and helping those, like we're blazing the path and we're reaching our hand back going, come on, come with us, we'll show you, come with us, just trust, just be with us, be around us, and you will see. And because people will be in such turmoil and confusion, that once you help clear them a little bit, then they will begin to awaken and be open, saying, oh, this feels much better. I want more of this, more of this, more of this. It feels better. It's clearer. I'm feeling better. I'm not bogged down with all of this. So it just takes a tiny little crack in their being to feel that frequency, to want more and more and more. So the time is now that more people will be getting in more distress, if you will, more confusion, more chaos. And that is by design, because then a tiny little bit of knowledge will seep in and then open them on their path. And so those of us that are light workers, we consider ourselves light workers, people that are on the path to help humanity raise their frequencies. We will be infused exponentially, but That's why we're being told to prepare our bodies, clear our spaces, get rid of the heavy, so that there is much, much more room for this massive influx that's coming in. It's huge that's coming in. It is going to be fascinating and bring you into a level of things that were only on the other side of the veil are now going to be rapidly available to you, rapidly. All those fractals of who you are going to be just whoop, bring that in, use that skill set. Oh, I can do it here. And it's just going to be all those skills, the knowledge, everything from the whole of who you are is just that information is going to be flooding through to you so that you have a confidence, a knowing. At first, it's startling. And then when you settle into it, you're like, got this, got that, I'm good. This works. Oh, I need that. That's happening. It's just going to be easy breezy after that, just smooth sailing. So that is what is happening to all of us at this point. And it's happening rapidly, where this is not going to be happening 10 years from now. This is happening now. This is happening 23, 24, the ability is here and it's coming. And it's going to be perhaps different time frames for different people based on where their current frequency is as to when they really start seeing all the varied versions of the fractals of who they are to bring that information forward. But it is very, very quickly happening. And again, it's because you now have access to higher level information that you've never had access to before. And those of us that are already our frequencies being raised, we will be bringing the information down, the higher level information, to those that are seeking. As they're raising their frequency, eventually they will be able to reach all this information themselves. But for now, we will bring it to them until they're ready to get it themselves. So it's very exciting right now, the conversations that we're having on the ship about the next phase. You will have people in huge distress going, please help me. Please help me. I need help. And as you touch each of those souls, they will get their crack of the crack in their soul that says, oh, there is something different. And then they will begin on their path. And that's how it works.
Fantastic. So what I want you to do now is, they've just been communicating with me, and I asked them to please transport you to Egypt, into that particular timeline when you were having a very important mission and life in Egypt. And so, Laura, if you turn in the ship, you'll see they're busy preparing a portal for you to step through, and they're beckoning you to come forward. And I'm going to count to 3. And when I reach 3, you will be in that lifetime having an existence and having an important role to play in Egypt. 1, drifting and floating through time and space. 2, traveling faster and faster. And 3, you have arrived. Have a look around. What do you see?
So I am in a classroom. I am a teacher. And I am teaching the children. And the teaching is telepathic. So as I sit in front of the children, I have a thought. And you can think of it like a thought bubble. And so as we talk about a topic, I access my knowledge on that subject. And the children learn to tune in to that frequency of that particular information. So I don't have to speak. They come in and they see the knowledge that I'm showing them. And as they tune in, it's like they're exploring inside of this bubble all the knowledge I know about this specific topic. And they can come in and look at it and get their questions answered about it all on their own. I don't even have to speak. It's just like they're going in and they're looking and they're going, well, I wonder how that works. And then it's shown to them and they can see the pathway of what is occurring inside of the bubble of whatever topic we're on. They follow their own thought pattern going, well, how does that work? And how is that put together? And how does that interact with this? And what does it go this way? And so this child is following their own journey to answer all the questions of what they need to know to understand this topic. But the other child is going a different route and going through that knowledge in a different path based on what they already know, based on what their niche is, their skill set, their knowing of who they are. What is it that they want to know about this topic that will help them on their specific quest of what they're here to learn and want to be creative with? So every child is coming at this thought bubble in a different way based on their needs and their knowledge of what they need to know. And so that is how the teaching is going, is telepathic. So what it brings me to say is that as your frequency is raised, there are pockets of knowledge out there on whatever subject you need to know. And so whatever creative process you go into, you are able to tune your frequency into that information, that pocket of information, and all your answers are right there. So if you're pulled to, say, go create a better way to purify water, and you're really fixated on that, then as your frequency raises, you can find the knowledge of what's come before us or what is out there in different dimensions, the best way to purify that water. And you go, gosh, I really want to learn how to do this. And then you tap into that conversation bubble of the purifying of the water, And you, like those children learning telepathically, go into that knowledge and you start journeying through that information, that pocket of knowledge, to get the information that you're seeking on this particular subject. And so that's the new excitement of reaching the higher level information that's on the other side of the veil. On any topic, any subject, you want to compose a song that touches the hearts of the humans. And you go in and you go to another pocket of knowledge that teaches you about tones and tuning and the human anatomy and the energetic composition of the humans and which frequencies and notes and tunes will most affect them. Or if you're in front of a human, you will be able to tap into their frequency and their energy and know that based on their frequency composition, what they need, the knowledge and the tuning that they need as you work through their body, based on what they're asking you. What is it that they need at this moment? They're looking for, what is it that they want? And you can go assist them and go, okay, we can do this and this to help them get that clarity, to help them get that understanding, to move this out of the way. We call it belief systems and programming. And I guess it would be considered reprogramming the individual humans. But it's always about tuning into the specific frequencies. So as you, as a human, as your frequency raises and gets higher, you have the ability to go into a multitude of different frequencies and learn to tap into the energy of it. It's the energy work based on what you need. If you want to be an inventor, if you want to be a healer, as you raise your frequencies, you are able to go find the information with much less distress than you've ever known walking on the planet Earth. That veil is lifted, and now you can go play in the big, huge pocket of information, and it will be fascinating. So as we talk about being creative beings, what is it that you want to go create? Now, as your frequency is raised, go see how fascinating your creations can be. And as you want to be healer, go tap into that knowledge to be able to help assist these humans open themselves up, raise their frequency so they can be the best version, multi-dimensional version of who they're going to be. So this is the time we have been waiting for. This is the time that when we heard the new earth way back in 2012, when we started the beginnings of our writing saying there's a new earth, that's what it's about. We are opening up the shell. We've been tucked away, we've been hidden, we've been shielded because we were too low of a frequency to go play in the big world. And as these new frequencies are coming in, it is just opening up the possibilities that this is what the new world is all about. The higher frequencies to create a different way. There's no more old school, let's have talk therapy. Let's do the old way of goal setting. You set your goal and you work till you hit that goal. That's not what's going to happen. When your frequencies are raised, you don't have to go against any flow. You are in the flow and you go find that information and then you keep it happening and creating. So in every aspect of every thought that every human could possibly have, you have access as your frequency raises to that high level of information. So that's why these next 10 years are going to be fascinating, fascinating to see what humans create as their frequency is raised. What they're able to create is going to not look anything like it looks now. So, yes, chaos is going to ensue, but it will affect people much differently. And mostly, it's going to affect, in a negative way, those who are very 3D because they're still picking up on all the negative fear, guilt, shame, all of that. Those of us that have our frequency raising, we are slowly moving away from guilt and shame and fear, and we have a knowing that all is well, all is as it should be, all is going according to plan. So the telepathy in the pyramids, I don't think I'm in a pyramid, I'm in a classroom, but the way we're teaching those children, that was an advanced civilization. And we are moving back towards this advanced civilization. Eventually, I don't think it'll be in this lifetime of Laura, but not far removed, perhaps the next lifetime or the next couple of lifetimes, generations, if you will, the telepathy teaching will be able to come back because instead of having to deprogram our children, because you see this young generation of babies coming in, they're brilliant, but we're going to stick them in those antiquated systems, which is not going to serve them well. Our antiquated educational systems of all the old knowledge and all the old information that is not truth at all. That is not truth at all. It does not teach these babies how to work with their energy, how to work with their frequency, how to work with their vibrations. So these children are going to have to be the ones to grow up and say, okay, this system has to change because that's part of the system's falling, because these old 3D systems are just poof, just not even serving anyone any good. But these children are going to have to teach the teachers a better way and be able to get teachers to be more open-minded to listen to the children, because the mindset of humans are that the children are here, we're here to teach the children. Not anymore. These children are here to teach you. They know what they know. You have all that old programming that we're having to undo and try to alter you and teach you a better way. So it's going to be a process before we have total access to that amazing information out there. I mean, we will have it, those of us who are working on our frequency, and those of us that are going to Egypt. Ooh, when you come back, wow, hold on for that ride. It's going to be fantastic. So before you go, it's very important to streamline your dwelling and your home so that when you come back, you're not bogged down with that heaviness. You can come back because you will come back and see your world completely different, in a completely elevated view, a completely different knowing than where you are right now in this moment.
Thank you. So has Laura brought through those telepathic teaching skills into the current life of Laura?
Not yet. Not yet. There will be the beginnings of it in her lifetime for her, but it has to be have the recipients that can handle some of that, and that's not going to be her direction at this moment in this lifetime. Right now, her path is to help people realize their multi-dimensional selves of who they are. And not everybody's ready to see that. So it's those that are seeking and are clear enough to be able to see their multi-dimensional selves. That is her task at hand, to help those that are ready to elevate, see the versions of who they are. Because it when you're ready to see that, that means you have cleared out fear and guilt and shame and those lower emotions. They're going to be just showing up in old programming, but they're dissipating within the people that are able to see the tremendous amount of multidimensionality that they are.
And
Does
why?
that make sense?
Yes, it did. Thank you. Why did you choose Laura, part of your team, to represent you at this important, or on this important mission to Egypt? What is it that she's going to bring through?
She is a profound teacher. Her knowledge, her frequency is such that she has access to bring through information that people need. In Egypt, her role just like all of us going to Egypt, it's no less, no stronger. It is the various frequencies that her fractals represent that bring a very powerful capacity to hold a lot of energy, a lot of energy. So when we bring the energy through, she will be able to carry a lot of energy out into the world to affect many. And she will be teacher, if you will, just helping those that want to know what she knows from playing in other dimensions and other frequencies. She spends a lot of time playing, as do you, as does Michelle, as do many on our team, spend a lot of time playing in the other dimensions. And that gives such powerful knowledge to tap into. And so the diversity of her skills is very useful in the trip to Egypt. She will be bringing messages through for those that will be on the trip. She will be tuning in as ceremonies occur. She will be bringing knowledge forth. She will be holding space, much as she did in Cyprus. Cyprus was very ceremonial, and as prompted, Laura would bring the information through, or be asked to bring information through for the group, because not everybody in the group everybody's at varied levels, and some will be able to hear information come through, and not everybody will. So those of us that can reach the information and bring it through will bring it to bless those that are with us, so they will have a knowing, and they will have an opening, and they will have clearings for themselves, because we want everyone there to be as open as possible, to be as clear as possible. And so some of these interactions will be clearing them, so they have the capacity to hold more of the frequency that is going to come through for them, so that when they go out to their respective places in the world, they will be, as you termed earlier, beacons of light for those around them. So she's there, as are the several of us there. Shahira and Michelle and you and Peter, in our capacity to assist the rest of the team that's with us, so that they will be open and clear to hold the light. We can help them with those things that are not cleared from them yet. We will just have a knowing on, and be prompted on those that need, or asking for a little bit more opening, if you will, clearing. We will all be able to do that for them, and we will be able to bring the higher vibration information down through us, to help them have better understanding and knowledge.
Thank you. And that leads me on to another question, is Laura was very helpful in the Cyprus mission that she went on, and she started singing and getting messages as such, or downloads in another language. And that happened to her when she went on a walk with Jonette as well. Jonette, what is the purpose of this newness that is coming through her? These are the frequencies and sounds and languages that she seems to hold such a beautiful tone with. Is this going to happen more frequently, and what is the purpose of it?
Yes, these are more fractals of who she is. And as she continues her work, she is learning more of who she is. And those fractals are very, very high frequency. They're in higher level dimensions. So as she brings those songs through, she when she brings that fractal through the songs, although asked later, she's not sure what the words mean, but as it's happening, she understands what it is that she is saying and for displaying for the people. And without them knowing, she is actually communicating to a higher frequency of the humans that are present. So,
Oh,
although it feels like the humans in the room don't know what's going on, it is touching them at a high frequency, a higher knowing, almost like storing information for them until they're ready to reach that. It's like bringing through information, and if consciously they don't know what she's saying, at some point it will activate them and bring them knowledge that they will need for later. So the singing that she does brings that information through, because information is tones and frequencies. And so the singing she does that, as does the languages that she comes through with. It is a higher frequency language that is stored into the energetic field of each human that is present, that they will have access to later. So it's kind of like imparting knowledge that if they don't understand it now, they will have the ability to tap into when their frequency hits that level of frequency. They will be able to tap into it.
so it's almost like she's being that same teacher again, right from when you showed her Egyptian life, and she was giving them the thought bubbles, those students, and they were able to explore it in every different level. And now she's doing it again with these beautiful tones. It's energy again, almost traveling through the wavelengths into their thought forms. And then they are able to access it, you're saying, whenever they are able to.
Yes, it's like depositing pockets of information into their energetic field that they will have access to when they're ready for that information. Yes, it's a teaching that goes into their energetic field
Yes.
that they can use when they're ready. And many times, the information that she puts in energetic fields is all about raising the frequency. So that's kind of a interesting concept, that the information that she deposited for the people in Cyprus was clearing and ways to raise their frequency and clear their densities, because that is the quest that they're on, going for the higher frequencies. And that's what the information was that she gave them in that song, in that channeling in a different language, was for them to have when they're ready.
So that begs the question then, that when we get to Egypt and we're having that private time in the pyramid, would she be able to do something like that to align all of us and then get us straight into that beautiful space?
She will be prompted when she is prompted, as each of us. We're going to Egypt and we know that we are going to Egypt, but we just know we need to be there. But when we get there, it will unfold almost ceremonial. Each of us will know what it is that we're to bring forward. in we will know at that moment, in that time, in that ceremony, it will unfold, and each person will bring, they will know their part to play. That's what happened in Cyprus. In Cyprus, Jeanette gets the downloads and she knows the information, but Laura was prompted to come in jointly with her in this ceremony. And then a few others were also prompted in the ceremonies to come through, those that channel and bring in the higher information. So it ended up being a collective raising of the frequencies. And we were there in Cyprus. We opened a portal on the island of Cyprus in the Dragon Cave for Mother Earth to release the densities she was holding, because she needed relief from all the heaviness that's being transmuted right now. The portal was to be opened because the masters were waiting to transmute that negative energy and release it from Mother Earth. However, when we go to Egypt, it's going to be different, because it's very interesting. The dichotomy is very interesting. If you look at the humans on the earth, we are being told, release your densities, get rid of all those lower level emotions, shame, guilt, judgment, anger, all the fear, all those lower emotions. We're being told, release those. You have to let go of those so that you have room for the new frequencies coming through. So when Laura went to Cyprus with Jeanette, we opened up a portal for Mother Earth to release the heavy densities that she's holding on to. And very ironic, Cyprus is right above Egypt in the Mediterranean. And then now we're going to infuse higher frequencies into Mother Earth. So it's very correlating. Humans releasing their densities so they have room for more frequencies coming in. And there in Cyprus, we release the densities for Mother Earth. And here in Egypt, we are going to help her have higher frequencies so that she will be able to raise her frequencies. So it's very interesting, the correlation, as above, so below.
It's literally. So that's wonderful. So I want you, I've just spoken to the Arcturians on the mothership, and they're opening the portal for you to go back, and you're going to be with them, and they're showing me so many screens, so many what's called dashboards. And as you're coming through back in front of them, they're now bringing through 6 tubes of light. And they're putting you right in the middle of those tubes. And as you look around those tubes, you can see the 50-year-old Laura in one tube. And you look at the other, and that's the 60-year-old Laura, and the 70, the 80, the 90, the 100. Looking from that mothership and viewing the 50-year-old Laura, what do you see?
I see the beginning of the awakening for her. Awakening, not the beginning. She was in it pretty heavy at that point, but curious and learning to follow her guidance and knowing getting brave enough to step into her purpose. There was a lot of shedding that had to happen for her to step into her present self. Shedding of fear, being different, getting off the beaten path, letting go of the programming. It was a whole process. And she was just in the, I don't know, 1/3, 1/4, the state, the beginning, not the beginning stages, mid and not midway, like in between beginning and midway of her path to where she is now. It was
And
a slow start back then. The energy was much heavier. It was before there was so much energy coming in. It was trudging through a swamp, if you will, trying to unload that and make that happen quicker.
and the knowledge that the current Laura has, standing in the middle, looking at that tube,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would she give the 50-year-old Laura, knowing what she knows now?
Just to follow your heart, because there was so much programming that had to be undone. And it was really that she followed her heart, her guidance in her heart to shed that programming to go into the place where she is. So it was a job well done. It was not an easy feat. It was not an easy process, but steady on the path.
Fantastic. I now want you to look at the 60-year-old Laura in the tube. How's she looking?
Wide open, bright, beautiful. Just so much of the programming's gone. Living life through her heart, through her guidance, excited about the possibilities, knowing what's ahead, just shining brightly, living in her heart, loving wide open. It's very beautiful to see.
Oh, that's so fabulous. Let's move forward to 70-year-old Laura. Look into that tube.
Wow. Just seeing exponentially the growth in the 10 years, just the hearts that she was able to touch, and the joy, and living a colorful, bright, big, beautiful life, and loving every moment of it, playing big in the world, exploring, playing, laughing, loving it, touching hearts, bringing people together, reaching her hand back and just helping them step up a little more. It's a beautiful, beautiful path.
And I want you to look behind Laura, the 70-year-old Laura, and see if there's a special male figure in her life supporting her. See if you can feel a presence.
The interesting is there are many timelines that she can select.
Yes.
And she is at a crossroads because there are several versions of her 70-year-old self. And so every decision you make makes a different future of that 70-year-old self.
Right. Now I want your 70-year-old self to speak to your current self. And what does the 70-year-old self need you to do currently for her future?
need you to stay steady on the path. You've worked tremendous amount of work to get yourself to the frequency that you're at so that your reach can be far and wide. And it is important for you to stay on a path that will not dim your light, that will not bring you down, that will let you be the brightest that you can be, because in that brightness, you will have a much more profound impact on every human you come in contact with. So your barometer is, how does this make you feel? Does it weigh you down? Just because you give your heart to somebody, is that taking away from you? We know it's benefiting them, but what is it doing for you? Is it raising your frequency? That's what you have to look at. Is it helping you be the best that you can be? Make every decision based on, what is it doing to your frequency? From this point forward, what is your frequency doing? That's your barometer. Is it raising it or lowering it?
Mm-hmm.
Always choose the raising, because that is the path you've chosen, and that is the people you need to be around, and that is the place you need to go. And many times in life, you impact people, but it doesn't mean you stay in that tribe, because it's onward and upward. There's a lot of hearts to touch, and it has to be shared and spread and moved. And staying in one space will prohibit the work that you need to get done. So always, in every moment, with love, give them love, but make sure that it's in your highest frequency.
That is fabulous advice. Thank you so much, from the wisdom of the 70-year-old Laura. And now we would like to have a good look into the 80-year-old Laura.
Yes.
With so much accumulated wisdom. How is the 80-year-old feeling?
Still going strong, wide open, loving life, just amazed at all of the beauty she's been able to see on earth. Living wide open.
What
Just
advice would you give Laura now? From that accumulated wisdom, what does she tell Laura? Young Laura. The wisdom she's accumulated that she can share with you now.
That all along, you've known that you have an entourage on the other side of the veil that was opening the path and paving the path for you. And that every time you followed that advice, look how another door opened that just was wow. And good job on listening to that intuition and marching to your own drum and giving everybody around you permission to march to their own drum, to be who they needed to be as they're following their higher guidance. And job well done on affecting change on the planet.
Beautiful. And now the Octurians are dimming those lights. They wanted you to see your future selves and what your future selves need from you, the decisions that you make in your current life that will affect them. And currently, the decisions you are making, it seems that they are doing so well. And so the Octurians are now sitting around a board, in like a boardroom, in a board table, hovering in these most beautiful see-through chairs. And you are with them, and they've got a final message for you before we finish off. What is it that they wish to share with you for this final message?
Jill, it's all of us sitting at the table. And even those who have, even Alba and Blair, you and Michelle, Sabrina, our friends from Peru, Johnette, it's those that have touched my life in a most profound way that I do work with, because I will still have future events with Johnette, and Alba will be an impact. And we will be working together, Michelle and Peter, Shahira, Sabrina. So it's those people that I have an agreement with at the table in their Arcturian version. And as you know, we have many versions of ourselves, but in this Arcturian version, we're just all congratulating each other for hearing our assignments, our tasks, and sharing our messages and building a tribe, not necessarily a tribe, those that are tuning in, that are getting affected with the work we're doing. It is rippling out. So though we are talking to this group of people, but they're talking to groups, and they're talking to groups and groups and groups and groups and groups, and that's how it spreads exponentially. And then it blends into these other groups that are talking, spiritual groups that are talking. So it's this whole bubble on bubble on bubble on bubble on bubble on bubble on bubble is how I can describe it. And so as we sit at the table, we're all in agreement that everything's going as it should be. And it's beautiful. And stay the path. It's all about keeping your frequencies high so that you can gather the higher knowledge, the higher knowing, the higher emotions, the higher joy, the bigger colors, the bigger range of the spectrum is bigger. As your frequency is higher, your rainbow spreads and has many different hues of every single color. So I like to describe it as in 3D, you have a box of crayons, 8 crayons. But as your frequency rate, and you color the world with those 8 different crayons in the box. But as your frequency raises, your crayon box becomes a box of 64, and you color it much bigger, much broader, much brighter, many more hues, bigger piece of paper. And so, as we're sitting around our table, we all are telling each other, good job, good job. We're loving each other, supporting each other as each person is going out and doing their specific roles that is touching, 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 touching. It's powerful. It's beautiful. Ah, we are so pleased.
Oh, just so absolutely fabulous. So thank you so much for supporting Laura so beautifully today and for taking her up on to your mothership. Could you please now put her back down the tube and get her to materialize once again and put her gently, gently on the bed of flowers. And as she starts to feel her body more solidly, and as you levitate her full body back through the trees, and now get her to stand upright. Now she's feeling solid. The sun has come up, and now she's ready to start a new day. I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I reach 3, you're going to be feeling fabulous and back in your body, remembering everything, ready to carry this knowledge through and ready for your trip to Egypt and your mission ahead. 1, starting to move around. 2, feeling great. And 3, opening those eyes, and welcome back, welcome back. Hello.
Hi there. Wow, that was fun. That was really exciting.
It was okay for you?
Yes, and my friend, you are beautiful at carrying me into other dimensions. Very nice. Nice, nice traveling with you.
They
Yeah,
were guiding me. They were showing me. It was like watching a movie as they were traversing you through. So I just followed instructions.
that is a fabulous, fabulous skill set. So beautiful. Yes,
It was
yes,
wonderful to see you as that teacher.
yes, yes. And it's very interesting, the pockets of
Oh, you're
information.
frozen.
Hey, I think if we keep going, it won't show that way. I have, yeah, there you go.
There you
You're
go.
on,
You froze for a
yeah,
minute. Yeah.
and you did too as well. Yours froze. Um, I think it's fabulous to understand. It's like you can get downloaded with pockets of knowledge. And a few months ago, I had a reading with a guy I really enjoy, and I was told that I was, before Egypt ever came up, I was downloaded with information from Egypt, Atlantis, and Lemuria, so that as people came in for sessions, I had the pocket of knowledge that I would need to guide them through those places as they needed that information. And so I guess I'm saying this thinking of the information like pockets of information that are different frequencies, and then you can just tune into it. It's very interesting, the whole knowing of that. So
And
anyway,
it's like the reading right at the beginning with the water and the drop of water that comes in. Each drop that comes in is a new pocket of knowledge.
yes, yes, yes. And that was new information for me, to know that the singing and the language that I speak is giving them the information so when they're ready to access it, it will be with them. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
realize.
once again, a teacher again giving them the pockets of information.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's all just there. And then when they're ready, when their vibration rises to meet that level, it'll be accessible to them.
But what is interesting is, remember I talked about in Egypt, one child will explore that information one way and
Yes.
another child. So when the song comes through, as the information is deposited with each person that hears it, it's in the manner that they need. It's in the flavor that they need that information in their life that they'll explore it. So what this person gets out of the song is different than what this person gets out, because they'll explore that information and use it in a different way.
It's just like children in a family that remember a situation that happened in the family in 3 different ways. And yet
Yes.
for exactly the same situation. Now you can understand why. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, yes, yes. And
Oh,
I didn't know that depth of the singing that I do, because the other thing I do is I sing to the animals nonstop. It's crazy. I was just at the beach last week, and I was at the beach, and all these seagulls were on the sand around me. And I just stopped and I sang them a song, and they're flying through the sky and they're coming to land by me. And I just have all of these, they're just sitting and listening to my song. I thought it's fascinating that they're flying out of the sky to come hear it. So
they can feel the vibration. Yeah.
I guess. So it's interesting. So kind of fun. Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
well done. Well done, you. And then
thank you.
just going to press stop here. There we go.